Alrighty, so we are going to do another Abyss review. This is from the last Abyss. I'm catching up on those while I am moving. So this is going to be from, this is going to be from Kako, who is a member in the Discord. Again, if you want to submit your Abyss run for one of these videos, do be sure to join the Discord. There will be a link down in my bio. Okay, so we're going to look real quick at what his team is. It looks like it is an Overvape team with Ayato, Fischl, Kazuha, and Bennett. Very interesting team, like an Overvape Electrocharge team. So let's see how this does. Okay, so starting off, he's going to go to Kazuha. He's going to tap his skill, so that way the Anemo Magokenki does not dart off. Doing 1045, 890. Usually Kazuha is built with a swirl build, so you're going to be building a lot of elemental mastery. So his actual Anemo damage without other elements present is not going to be good, just because he is built to do damage through swirling, and then of course through his passive, giving more damage to your other characters. Ooh, and then he took some hits there. Okay, so going straight into Ayato, using Ayato's burst to get the off-field Hydro application. Going to Fischl, dropping, ooh, that's some nice damage. Going to, it looks like the burst hit 4,174. Going into Fischl, getting 15,780 on the Oz summon. That was her skill. Getting 3,000 down here. Oh, I would love to see the split. Electrocharge damage 2865. So Fischl is not going to have too much EM on her. Electrocharge also doesn't scale very well for damage. This is probably much more for just to add extra damage to the team. Okay. We got another 6,000. 6,000. Okay, so we got a lot of numbers here. Whew, okay. 6,000 Hydro damage, 11,000 Electro damage, 6,000 Electro damage, 2,400 on some Anemo damage. Then we're going to get some Electrocharge and some swirling going on. So we're going to have a lot of numbers going on whenever you start mixing Anemo into all of these other elements. Okay, so we got 6,000, 6,000, 3,600, 2,800, 4,000, another 6,000, 5,000, 1,300. You see there's a ton of numbers. Even though the numbers right now are kind of small, except for the initial hit from Fischl being 15,000, there's still a ton of numbers going on with this swirling action here, the swirling reaction, I guess I should say. Okay, so now we're going to go into Ayato and start using his skill to get his damage out. And then I wonder if afterwards we're going to bring in Benny and Vape with his burst, and then go back into Ayato and continue doing damage. If we're almost setting up for Bennett to take the field and Vape with his burst. So Electrocharge, 2,800, 2,255, 1,400, this 12,000 over here, and this 14,000 right up here are going to be from Ayato using his skill. Getting into his very fast. On the next hit, 15,000, 1,400. So we're going to have a lot of Anemo damage going on. We're going to have a lot of Fischl's Oz, or I guess Oz, shooting in some Electro, getting Electrocharge. We're going to have a lot of damage, even if Ayato's only targeting a single one of the Magokenki. Because of how his burst works, because of him applying Electro and because of Oz, you should still see a lot of Electrocharge jumping around between the different enemies. 13,000, 15,000. Still, we're just getting more and more of him using his skill, doing more Hydro damage, allowing for the Electrocharge to start jumping between enemies with Oz. I wonder if this is a C6 Fischl. I'm not seeing any tiny numbers, and I don't see a little orb up there. That would be Oz off field. Well, I guess it would have to wait until Oz is off the field. I think he's still on the field right now. Oh, you took a good hit there. Yeah, okay, so Oz is still on the field. I do wonder if it's a C6 Fischl. I might see it in just a second. 8,000, 16,000 from the skill, 2,000, 15,000, 15,000, 6,000 popping up right now. Now, Ayato is one of those characters that you can play a lot of different ways. This is I've never seen this particular team with Ayato. It's a very interesting team. I'm interested to see how Benny plays into this in just a little bit. But Ayato is a character that does a ton of hydro application, right? I've thought about getting him to be an on-field hydro driver for Hyper Bloom, but I went with Alhaitham instead. You can do a lot with Ayato being for... being an on-field hydro driver, doing a lot of hydro damage, having just a ton of hydro application, you can slot him into a lot. You could let him be a hydro driver for Xiangling Vapes. You could do so much. Instead of Child, you could have Ayato, right? Let's take the Child International team and just slot in Ayato instead. Okay, so here we go with the Benny, bringing the Benny on probably towards the end of Ayato's skill to then get a Vape. And some overloads. This is going to be the overvape component. Was that a 5,500, 8,000, 3,000? 3,523 on the vape with the skill. Okay, so dropping his burst, we got 20,000 here, 20,000 over here. Look at how many different reactions. So an overvape team is very, very interesting because you get so many reactions, right? With how electrocharged works, it allows for electro and hydro to exist on enemies at the same time, meaning you can cause overloaded and vaporize reactions at the same time. So you can see just looking above me, right? Vaporized, electrocharged, overloaded with... the application or with Ayato's burst, we still are applying hydro back again. Then we got overloaded again, vaporized, electrocharge. We are still getting so many reactions right now that even though each number individually is smaller, it's adding up to an insane degree right now. All right, using Oz or using Fischl's burst, we got 19,000 over here, 11,000, and then a 9,000. So it's still pretty good damage from Oz. Once the burst finishes, obviously Oz will remain on the field, continuing to add Electro back in, allowing for more overvapes. Jeez, look at all those reactions. Okay. So we've got Kazuha taking the field, swirling. I'm assuming Kazuha's going to have VV, giving some defense shred or giving some elemental shreds. I do wonder how you control what element is being shredded. I would expect you to, I mean, I guess Electro or Hydro would be okay because Fischl and Ayato are both doing so much damage kind of combined that either one's going to be good. You can see we've got electrocharge. We've got a ton of electrocharges going around. These 3,000s from the swirl. I do wonder how much EM you have on your Kazuha. Using his burst, I'm interested to see what it absorbs. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it absorbed Pyro because of Benny's burst, because Benny's burst is still on the field, which is good. So now we've got overloaded. Now Kazuha's burst is going to be causing the overvapes, right? We've got overloaded, electrocharge. We've got overloaded, electrocharge. You've got just so many numbers on the screen because of all the different elements and all of the different element sources coming around. So now Ayato is going to get Benny's attack buff, so he should be doing a little bit more damage as well. Yeah, okay, so now instead of hitting that 15,000 or 16,000, he's hitting 23,000 and 21,000. Again, allowing for the electrocharge to start happening. Then Kazuha's Pyro-infused burst should also spread out, causing vaporizes or allowing Ayato to get vaporizes. Yeah, okay, there we go. So we got overloaded, we got some vaporize hitting up here, 25k, 21k, 21k. So we're really starting to see those numbers start to kind of compound with the different reactions. 25,000, 25,000, 21,000, 7,000, 2,900. You've got so many different numbers and so many different reactions. Plus, electrocharge allows everything to kind of spread around, which is really, really good. So you don't have to necessarily target a single one of these enemies. They're all going to be falling at around the same rate. love that screenshot. Okay, so we've got 14,000 over here. We've got overloaded, vaporized, 20,000s, 20,000s, 14,000s, 14,000s. We've got a ton going on, even a melt in there from that. So this is actually a really cool overvape team. I haven't seen one quite as, I want to say, synergetic. Dropping Ayato's burst to start getting more hydro application in there. We got Oz being summoned again, so we got 19,000, 19,000, 3,000, 6,000 from the individual bursts, some 2,800s, a 1,700. Kazuha coming back on to use his skill, swirling, getting a ton of electrocharge, a ton of these smaller numbers. You can just see how they're adding up. So anybody thinking that you got to go in hitting 100K, 100K, obviously you don't. You can do a team like this that just kind of compounds all of these different elements and all of these different reactions. Then, of course, bringing Ayato back out to start doing his skill again, hitting 16,000, 13,000. With Benny's burst, that was going up to 21, 23,000. And you can just see there's so many reactions. I'm just going to let it play out. There's so many reactions going on. This is probably one of the, like I said, one of the more synergetic overvape. I'm going to call it an overvape team. It's more like it's much less of an overvape and much more of an electrocharged with Benny in there to kind of buff Ayato. But this is one of the more synergetic teams like this that I've seen. I never would have thought about doing this kind of team with Ayato if I had gotten Ayato. I've wanted to try a team kind of like this with Child. And I'm still just not like too keen on doing that. Maybe like Child, Fischl, Xiangling, Bennett would work pretty good. But this is actually a really cool team. I love how many reactions are going on. This is definitely a team that somebody that loves reactions would really, really love, just because of how many reactions we have happening. I really, really like this team. That is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, do be sure to leave it down in the comments. Myself or somebody will be sure to answer it. I'll see you in the next one.